Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Imposter syndrome, before you disappear. You may not think it belongs to you, but let me tell you, I wouldn't have thought it belonged to me either. And I actually have a look at the whole way through my life as to realizing that all the drive that I was doing was coming from lack of thinking that I wasn't good enough. Now, how does that show up? Well, let me just tell you even about just an example. Whenever I was 19, and I went for an RAF interview, and my mum had told me that I was a secretary, and there was no point in thinking I could be anything more because I didn't have the intellect, etc., etc. Bless her. And then when I went for the RAF interview, then they did an IQ test, and I came out like sky high, like I was a wee genius. So who knew? Who absolutely knew? And they wanted me to be an officer. And I didn't need to go for an interview because my IQ was that good that they said, just come back and you can start. We can start the training. We'll do the whole introduction thing, etc., etc. And I was just like, oh my goodness, who are they talking about? Who are they talking? They've got the wrong person. That's not me. They must have got the wrong test. And I left, and I never went back. I didn't answer any of the emails, phone calls, nothing. Now, I thought I wasn't good enough because I had a wee story. I was programmed into me that I was a secretary, and that's all I could be. So what happens in life? Life goes along and then kicks you up the backside. Like a wee battery, you need the negative charge to make it actually work. You can't just have the positive charge, you need the negative as well. So I had a right little negative dose. Well, it was quite powerful at the time, whenever in my early 20s. And then I took all that anger and I decided to put it into studies because I couldn't control the anger that was inside me. And I thought I knew I needed to deliver it somewhere. So in a positive form. So I turned it all around, and I got a degree in computer science. I was the only girl to be getting at that time in the programming. So that was pretty good. I was like, woohoo, get me. I'm just absolutely brilliant here. So that's what I did with the anger. But then I carried on. I still didn't feel good enough. And so I had more qualifications. Yes, I got more jobs and I would do the jobs, etc., etc. But I never ever felt good enough. Now, I would never, if somebody said you've suffered from imposter syndrome, I'd have gone, no way. But here's how it's masked. You keep yourself busy, busy, busy. You don't like being on your own. You always have music on. There's always a noise going on, or there's people going on, or you need to have something organized. There needs to be something going on in your life. You work really, really hard, and you think that you're a great employee because maybe you go early and you stay late, and then you just do your best to climb up to the top. For what? What are we climbing to the top for? Now, you may say security, but most of you don't stay secure because we tend to live, within our means. So the more money you have, the more you spend. And so you thought you were feeling safe and secure. You thought you'd have the great relationship. In your 20s, you thought, I'll have it sorted in my 30s. In my 30s, I thought I'll have it sorted in my 40s. In my 40s, I thought I'll have it sorted in my 50s. And it didn't work that way. What is going on? You see, we can never outperform our own self image. And what I noticed, that even having a glass of wine at night, it was actually masking the agitation that I was feeling, like anxiety of I should be doing this and I should be doing the other. And I would quieten it with just one glass of wine. That's all I needed. So when I decided to stop that wine, I was like, oh, this feels uncomfortable. Now I see why I wanted the glass of wine. I mean, it's no harm, is it? Just one glass of wine every night. See, we can't even see ourselves. You can't actually see how great you really are. And you may still do all the stuff that you do, but instead of being driven by fear and lack, it's driven with love. But would you work so hard? Would you? I mean, if I asked you now if you won the lottery, would you stay in your job? You may love your job. It may be the best job ever, but if you won the lottery, would you stay there? And you see, that's the thing, is that it's driven then. You're going to work out of fear and lack because you say, well, I say, well, give up your job now. And you go, well, no, I can't. I've got the bills to pay. And I went, okay. So you're actually going to work in fear, which is lack. And wonder why this cycle just, no more month at the end of the money or whatever that is. Or perhaps you're just comfortable. Maybe you're just comfortable. Are you settling? Because you don't think that you're worthy of any more. The imposter syndrome isn't just for people who think, oh, I'm not good enough and I won't go for the job. You see, a lot of us do that with excuses and justifications, so you don't even notice. You don't go for that £60 million deal. You don't go for taking your annual salary and making it monthly. You don't go for those because you don't feel like you're worthy. That's the imposter syndrome. And you've got an excuse. You've got all the excuses and justifications. Absolutely. But you're more than that. That's just the 0.001% that you think that you are. And you are 99.999% that you can't even see is so much greater. And if you could tap into that, you could ask for anything that you wanted and not settle. Because believe me, every person I ask, and some people don't even want to come out of that box that they put themselves in. I don't need that. No, because you don't feel you're worthy of it. You can have anything that you want. You came here to play, for goodness sake. You came here to play. So go play. But first of all, you've got to meet yourself with where you are. I might not go with you on the full journey, but I can sure as heck take you on the next steps. So come along, and I've put the link in the description. And so we've got a Zoom on Wednesday about the imposter syndrome. And you can ask me all the questions, and I'm going to give you some clear information as to, ways of how to override that programming. You're greater than what you think. The imposter is the ego telling you those stories. The imposter is the blooming programming. You are just so much more than all of that. So much more. Come in on Wednesday and join us there. I'd love to see you there. Have a good day.